What if I told you your alarm clock isn't what's keeping you asleep, your mind is? We don't fail mornings because we're tired. We fail because we wake up without purpose. Marcus Aurelius warned us. You could be good today, but instead you choose tomorrow. Think about that. You don't snooze the alarm, you snooze your potential. Every morning, 99% of people lose a silent battle before they even open their eyes. Not against society, not against time, but against the weaker version of themselves. And Arnold Schwarzenegger once said, "The worst thing I could be is the same as everybody else." I'd hate that. So ask yourself, do you wake up to fit in or to rise, because the world doesn't reward comfort. It rewards clarity, discipline, and action. But imagine this starting tomorrow. You don't wake up as a worrier, you wake up as a warrior. Following 6 ancient Stoic laws, not to feel motivated, but to become unbreakable. This isn't self-help. This is combat training for the mind. And the question is, will you keep choosing tomorrow, or will you finally claim today? Law 1, the hour of silence. What if the first victory of your day isn't something you do, but something you choose not to do? Let me ask you a simple question. What is the first thing you touch every morning? Your phone, your notifications, your messages, or your own mind? Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." But how can your thoughts be clear if the first thing you do is allow the world to invade them? We check messages before checking in with ourselves. We open social media before fully opening our eyes. We let noise control us before we take control of our day. Here's a shocking fact. The average person touches their phone over 2,600 times a day, and 80% of people check their phone within 10 minutes of waking up. That means 99% of people lose the battle before they even get out of bed. Marcus Aurelius did the opposite. He began every day with stillness, no phone, no noise, no distraction. Before touching the world, he touched his thoughts. He believed the mind must be washed before the body. So let me ask you, do you start your day clean or already polluted? The first moments of the morning set the rhythm of the entire day. Seneca wrote, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." If your attention is scattered the moment you wake up, then you are already nowhere. So let's reset. Right now, take a deep breath. Inhale, exhale slowly. Let the noise leave with the air. Repeat after me. The day does not begin until I choose it to begin. Now let's talk about application, because Stoicism is nothing without action. For the first 30 minutes after waking up, no phone, no news, no noise, just silence. You don't even need to meditate. Simply sit, breathe. Let your mind speak before the world does. Marcus Aurelius called this clearing the inner chamber. Tomorrow morning, try this sit with your thoughts and write down whatever appears in your mind without judgment. Why? Because awareness is the first form of victory. There's a powerful story about a Roman general who trained his soldiers to sit in complete silence at sunrise before any physical training. Why? Because only those who command their thoughts can command a battlefield. So what if your battlefield is your life? What if your morning determines your destiny? Let's reset again. Say it with me. Silence is not empty, it is full of answers. Modern science now confirms what the Stoics knew 2,000 years ago. Just 10 minutes of quiet reflection increases decision-making clarity by 31%, reduces anxiety, boosts creativity, and improves emotional control. So this week, I challenge you, practice the hour of silence. If an hour feels too long, start with 10 minutes. The goal is not perfection, the goal is presence. And when the urge comes to grab your phone, ask yourself, am I reacting or choosing? Marcus Aurelius asked himself every morning, what am I doing with the gift of this day? So let me ask you, will you wake up as a servant of distraction or the master of your mind? If you're ready to rise above comfort and follow the next law, voluntary discomfort, then keep watching, because the real battle begins now. Law 2, voluntary discomfort. What if the thing you're avoiding every morning is exactly what you need the most? Most people wake up searching for comfort, the warm blanket, the soft light, the easy mood. But comfort is not the reward of the morning, it is the enemy of it. Epictetus said, "You cannot learn what you think you already know." The Stoics believe the same about comfort. You cannot grow inside a comfort zone you refuse to leave. Let me ask you, when was the last time you did something difficult on purpose? Not because you had to, but because you chose to. The Stoics called this voluntary discomfort, a quiet form of training that strengthens the will before the day even begins. Cold showers, early waking, fasting, walking instead of driving, a hard workout before sunrise. Why? Because as Marcus Aurelius said, the impediment to action becomes the action. The obstacle is not in your way. The obstacle is the way. Let's reset for a moment. Say it with me. Comfort is a cage. Growth begins when I step outside. Modern science now backs this up. A 2-minute cold shower increases dopamine levels by up to 250% more than some antidepressants. Exposure to discomfort improves mental clarity and emotional resilience. Your body gets stronger. But more importantly, your willpower sharpens. Because the mind learns to obey the will, not the mood. Let me tell you a story. There was once a Roman soldier who trained at dawn every day, even when the weather was brutal. One morning, a young soldier asked him, "Why do you come here so early, even when no one is watching?" The veteran replied, "That is exactly why, because the battle begins when no one is watching." That is voluntary discomfort. Choosing challenge not for applause, but for discipline. So let's talk practice. Starting tomorrow morning, do one deliberate act of discomfort, no matter how small. A cold shower, push-ups before sunrise, skip sugar, walk for 5 minutes in the cold. Leave the bed the second the alarm rings, no negotiation. Because every time you choose discomfort, you awaken power. Every time you run from it, you train weakness. Let's reset again. Breathe in, breathe out. Now repeat, pain is not the enemy, surrender is. Epictetus taught his students to sleep on hard floors and eat plain meals, not because luxury was bad, but because strength requires edge. Today we have soft beds, warm rooms, unlimited food, and yet anxiety is at an all-time high. Why? Because the body has evolved, but the spirit has weakened. Comfort has become a silent poison. So here's your challenge. 7 days, one act of voluntary discomfort every morning. Rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. Start small, but start. Your brain will resist. Your mood will argue, but your will must win. And when you finish, write one line in your journal: "I am stronger than I was yesterday." Because every time you choose discomfort, you build proof. Proof that you are capable. Proof that you are not your feelings. Proof that tomorrow does not control you, you control it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions." So raise your ambition. Don't aim to be comfortable. Aim to be powerful. Aim to be grounded. Aim to be someone your future self would thank. Because voluntary discomfort is not about pain. It is about permission to grow. Now the question is, will you train your willpower? Or will you wait for life to train it for you? Because life will teach discipline either gently by choice or painfully by force. If you're ready to go further, then keep watching, because the next law will prepare your mind for the storms ahead. Law 3, premeditatio malorum. What if the reason most people panic when things go wrong is because their mind never rehearsed the possibility? Most people wake up hoping everything goes perfectly. Stoics woke up preparing for what could go wrong, not to live in fear, but to live fearlessly. The ancient Stoics practiced something powerful called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of adversity. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "Begin each day by telling yourself today, I will meet interference, ingratitude, arrogance, jealousy, and selfishness." He didn't write this to be negative. He wrote it to be ready. Let me ask you, when something unexpected happens, do you react or respond? There's a big difference. Reaction is instinct. Response is strength. And the difference between the two is preparation. Let's reset right now. Take a breath. Inhale. Exhale slowly. Now say it with me: if I prepare my mind, I protect my peace. Here's a fact: humans suffer more from imagination than reality. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." A Harvard study found that 47% of the time our minds wander, usually imagining problems instead of preparing for them. Stoics did the opposite. They imagined problems to defeat them before they arrived. So how do we apply this? Every morning, ask one simple question: what could go wrong today, and how will I respond? Write your answer. Accept that challenges will come. Now imagine your response calmly, clearly, without panic. This transforms fear into familiarity. and familiar threats lose their power. Think about a firefighter. They don't fear fire because they know exactly what to do when it appears. Most people are emotional fire, ready to burn the moment something goes wrong. Stoicism teaches us to become firefighters of the mind. Unexpected problems don't burn us because we have rehearsed the response. Let me tell you a story. Before every battle, Roman generals would sit alone and imagine losing every scenario, every failure, every injury, but not to feel fear, to kill fear. Because when the mind rehearses pain, the body becomes strong enough to face it. Let's reset again. Say it with me. Anxiety is the price of unpreparedness. Once more, preparedness creates peace. Try this exercise tomorrow morning. Take 5 minutes and write down 3 challenges that might appear during your day. Then write your response to each one. When they come, you'll respond like a warrior, not a victim. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, you have power over your mind, not external events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Do you see the pattern? Stoicism does not promise perfection. Stoicism prepares you for imperfection, so it no longer controls you. The storm is not the enemy. Entering it unprepared is. A study from the University of Chicago showed that students who practiced mental rehearsal before an exam reduced anxiety by 29% and improved performance. Not magic, not luck. Preparation. Because life does not reward those who hope for easy days. It rewards those who train for hard ones. Now ask yourself, are you waiting for life to surprise you, or are you preparing your mind to meet it? Because life will not ask if you're ready, but Stoicism gives you a way to be ready every day. Let's end this law with a line to carry forward. Expect everything. Fear nothing. And if you're ready, the next law will sharpen your focus like a blade. Because powerful mornings don't need many goals, they only need one clear victory. Law 4, one clear goal. A day without direction is a day already lost. Most people wake up and drown in endless to-do lists, notifications, decisions, and distractions. Their minds are pulled in 1,000 directions, and they wonder why the day feels chaotic. But chaos is not the problem. Lack of clarity is. Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If your first thoughts are scattered, your entire day gets painted with confusion. That is why the Stoics followed a simple rule. One clear goal, not 5, not 10, just one. One win and the day is a success. Let me ask you, when you wake up, do you chase tasks or pursue purpose? There's a difference. A task drains energy. Purpose generates energy. Neuroscience confirms it. Doing one meaningful task increases dopamine and focus far more than completing multiple random tasks. Your mind doesn't crave productivity, it craves direction. Let's reset right now. Inhale, exhale, say it with me. If everything is important, nothing is important. We live in a world addicted to multitasking, but a study at Stanford found that heavy multitaskers performed worse on every cognitive test, memory focus, emotional regulation, compared to people who focused on one task at a time. Stoicism predicted this thousands of years ago. Seneca wrote, he who is everywhere is nowhere. So here's the Stoic practice. Every morning, write down only one clear goal. If I achieve this today, I win the day. It could be finishing a project, fixing a relationship, studying for an exam, or simply being present with your family. The goal doesn't have to be big, it only has to be true. Let me share a story. There was once a sculptor who spent years perfecting a single statue. A visitor asked, why don't you work on many projects at once? The sculptor replied, because one masterpiece is better than 100 unfinished ideas. Your day is no different. A single masterpiece action is better than 100 scattered efforts. Let's reset again. Breathe in and breathe out slowly. Now say one direction, one decision, one victory. Here's your challenge for the next 7 mornings. Write your one win for the day. Put it on your phone wallpaper. Write it on paper. Say it out loud. And don't sleep until that one thing is done. You will begin to notice something amazing. Anxiety fades, motivation rises, and clarity becomes your natural state. Marcus Aurelius mastered empires. Yet each morning he returned to this. When you arise in the morning, remember what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to act. The purpose of your day is not to be busy, it is to be useful. Not to fill time, but to fill it with meaning. Let's reset one last time. Say it today does not need to be perfect, it needs to be directed. Because a day with direction is a day with power. A day without it is already lost. And if you're ready to go further, then prepare your heart because law number 5 goes beyond personal success. It asks you a question most people never ask themselves. How can I serve others today? Law 5, service over ego. A life built only for yourself will eventually collapse. What if the greatest power you could gain each morning isn't about you at all? Most people start their day thinking, what do I need? Stoics began their day asking, whose life can I strengthen today? Marcus Aurelius was emperor of Rome, the most powerful man on earth. Yet every morning he wrote in his journal, what is my duty as a human being today? Not as an emperor, not as a philosopher, but simply as a human. Let's take a breath together. Inhale, exhale, say it with me. I rise so others can rise too. We live in a world where ego is celebrated, followers, status, achievement. But studies show something shocking. People who begin their day with a mindset of service rather than self-interest are 34% more focused, 23% less anxious, and more likely to achieve their goals. Why? Because ego creates pressure, but purpose creates power. Think about this. Anxiety often comes from thinking too much about ourselves. Will I succeed? What will people think of me? Am I good enough? But when your mission is to serve, fear fades, because the focus moves away from me to we. Seneca said, wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness. That doesn't mean you must change the world. It means you can change someone's moment. Let me tell you a story. A young soldier once asked a general, how do I earn respect? The general replied, earn it by serving those who have none to offer you in return. That is true power, giving when no one is watching, helping when no praise is offered, leading without demanding loyalty. Let's reset again. Inhale, exhale. Say service is strength, ego is weakness. Here's how to practice this Stoic law tomorrow morning. Send one honest message of appreciation. Help someone without expecting anything back. Give your attention fully to one person when they speak. Your day begins to change when people feel safer around you, when your presence brings calm instead of stress, when you don't compete with others but lift them. Remember, this ego wants to be seen. Service wants others to be seen. And the world does not remember those who demanded attention, but those who gave it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. This is the heart of Stoicism, living virtue, not speaking it. Let's reset once more. Say it clearly, if I can help, I am strong. A study at Yale University found that people who practice micro acts of service, even as small as holding a door, showed increased serotonin levels and lower stress markers for the entire day. Kindness doesn't drain energy. It produces energy. So tomorrow, don't ask, what can I get? Ask, what can I give? Because the greatest morning routine is the one that makes someone else's day better. And now your spirit is ready. You have built discipline. You have built clarity. You have built purpose. But there is one final Stoic law, the most powerful of them all. A reminder that time is not infinite, and every morning could be your last. Law 6, memento mori. You will die someday, but you are not truly living today. We spend our lives acting as if we have an endless supply of time. We plan for next month, next year, someday, but rarely for this moment. Yet the most dangerous phrase in life is, "I'll do it tomorrow," because one day tomorrow will no longer exist. Marcus Aurelius, emperor of Rome, wrote, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. These words were not meant to terrify us, they were meant to wake us up. So pause for a moment, take a breath in, breathe out, and say with me, because I will die, I choose to live. Memento mori. It means remember you will die, not to create fear, but to create urgency. Seneca, the great Stoic philosopher, wrote, life is long if you know how to use it. The problem is not that life is too short. The real problem is that most of us waste it. We wake up distracted. We live on autopilot. We rush through our days without truly feeling them. We postpone our dreams until the right moment. But the right moment never arrives. Because the present moment is the only one we ever truly have. When researchers at Cornell University interviewed more than 600 people over the age of 70, they asked them about their biggest regrets. 76% said they regretted not taking action when they were younger, not starting the business, not saying I love you, not following their passion. Their greatest regret was silence. Lewis Carroll once wrote, "In the end, we only regret the chances we didn't take." And how true that is. Let me tell you a story. A man once asked a wise monk, "What is the greatest tragedy, death?" The monk paused and said, "No, the greatest tragedy is to live as if you are already dead, living without passion, without intention, without truth." That is the slow death most people choose without even realizing it. Let's reset again. Breathe in, breathe out, and say gently, "This moment is my life, I will not waste it." Here's how to apply memento mori every morning. Just one practice. That's all you need. Ask yourself, if today was my last day, how would I choose to live? Then speak honestly. Move boldly. Do one thing you have been postponing. Just one. Even Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world, reminded himself daily of mortality. Because when you remember death, you remember what truly matters. Money matters less. Opinions matter less. Fear matters less. What remains is clarity. Mark Twain once said, "The fear of death follows from the fear of life. A man who lives fully is prepared to die at any time." Steve Jobs reminded us, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life." Napoleon Hill wrote, "Do not wait. The time will never be just right." And the writer Annis Nin said something beautiful. "People die inside before they ever die physically. Some people never truly live at all." So here is the paradox. When you accept death, you begin to feel alive. Your senses sharpen, your priorities align, your time becomes sacred, and every morning becomes a battlefield of meaning, not a war of distraction. Let's reset once more, slowly this time. Inhale, exhale, and say, "I will die someday, but not today. Today I live." Memento mori is not darkness, it is light. Because when time becomes precious, life becomes powerful. What would change if every hour mattered? How would you love if you knew it was your last chance? What decisions would you make? What truth would you speak if you finally stopped waiting? Albert Einstein said, "There are two ways to live, as though nothing is a miracle, or as though everything is a miracle." Henry David Thoreau wrote, "It's not enough to be busy. The question is, what are we busy about?" And Bruce Lee reminded us, "If you love life, don't waste time." Because time is what life is made of. So ask yourself, what are you avoiding? What passion have you postponed? What conversation have you been running from? What life are you waiting to begin? You don't need permission to start. You don't need perfect circumstances. And you don't need more time. You only need a decision. Because life does not begin when things get easier. It begins when you choose to begin. The Stoics didn't teach us how to avoid death. They taught us how to earn life. Marcus Aurelius ended one of his journal entries with a sentence that could change your entire future. "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." So I ask you right now, are you living or are you just waiting? Try these laws for 7 mornings. Not all of them, just one per day. And something inside you will wake up. Something ancient, something powerful, something alive. Memento mori. Remember you will die, so that today you truly live. If you'd like me to create a 7-day Stoic morning routine challenge, subscribe now to Making Life Better. I'll release it soon, but only for those who are truly ready. Not for the comfortable, not for the ones who are waiting. It will be for the few who are willing to look in the mirror and confront the truth. The ones who understand that comfort is a slow poison. The ones who know that their potential is still locked inside and refuse to die with it. This won't be just another routine. It will be a challenge, a test, a moment to choose who you really are. Each day will have one law, one action, and one chance to rise above distraction and live with intention. No excuses, no apologies, just progress. If that calls to something inside you, then maybe, just maybe, you are part of the 1%. So let me ask you, are you one of them? Are you the type who grows when others retreat? The type who seeks meaning instead of comfort? The type who understands that the clock is ticking and life is not a rehearsal? If your answer is yes, then write one word in the comments. Rise. Because the moment you write it, the challenge has already begun. Your next chapter is waiting, and your future self is watching. So ask yourself, will you scroll or will you rise?